Hello YouTube friends, Dr. Teresa here. I thought I would take a short amount of time to demonstrate my preparation process in anticipation of the dwarf seahorses. You can see here I'm cleaning up a 10-gallon aquarium that I pulled out of my storage of fish supplies, and now I'm drying it off and getting ready for the next phase. So next I start putting on some self-adhesive aquarium backing, and here I'm putting it on the bottom. It's black so that I can easily see food and waste that needs to be vacuumed up. And even though it is static cling, I'm putting tape on just to make it a little bit more secure. Here's the back part that's going to add some decoration, and I do need to cut it down into size. But again, I end up using tape to secure it because salt water does impact different materials, and even the static cling gets affected by it. This way I don't have to worry about it peeling off after everything is all set up. Next, I start transferring some filter media from my canister filter that I used for my large seahorses, and I'm going to pull out some media and put it in my mini aqua clear filter. I don't think they make it by that name anymore. I think it's called an aqua clear 10 or 20, but I think it's the same thing. So you can see I'm loading up the media basket, and I'm going to be putting these things inside of the filter to jumpstart the filter. Here is a sponge filter that's running, and it is a big one. It's actually rated for 40 gallons. It takes up a significant amount of real estate in the tank, but I felt in the past it was really hard to keep nitrites and nitrates down, and I really needed more biological filtration. So in addition to the power filter, I'm going to run the sponge filter. In addition to the setup in the tank, I am pulling out some copepods that have been growing in a bucket in my greenhouse. Basically, I just add food once in a while or some leaves and just let them grow. So now I'm ready to harvest some. There's also some rock that's been sitting on the bottom there, and that should be filled with copepods as well. So the rock is now in the aquarium as well as the copepods that I scooped out. And if you look closely, you can see the copepods swimming around in there. You can see a little bit of movement towards the front of the tank there. And now you can see I've added a sponge and some more media, ceramic media, because I'm going to eventually swap out what's in the filter. Take that out of the media basket and then put in what I consider to be options for better biological filtration, that sponge and more ceramic media. Just taking out the carbon and pads. And there I have everything installed, ready to go. Also, going through my things, I found a seashell, and my husband drilled a hole in it for me, and I grabbed some old plastic plants and I put them through the hole, and it looks really nice and covers up that sponge filter so it doesn't look so gawky in there. But anyway, everything's ready to go. Now I'm just ready to add the seahorses. So I did order them, and here's the package that they came in. You can see some instructions are there about Acclimation as well as my invoice. And then inside we're going to have some packing material. We've got some newspaper. Those are the heat packs. Those were still warm. We're having cold weather this time of year. And there is the bag with the seahorses. So I'm going to hold that up so you can see. They look like they're doing really well, and they survive the transport very well. So the instructions said that I needed to float the bag in the aquarium for 30 minutes with the lights out. That's exactly what I did. And then at the end of the 30 minutes, I released them into the aquarium with no transition or dripping. But before I do that, I am turning down the power on the sponge filter so that it's not too strong for the seahorses. And also I turn it down on the power filter. So I've put them in, and it is dark in there. The lights are off, but you can still see them swimming around. They are adjusting right away. You can see some swimming around, some hanging on. They are curious about the tank already, so you can see some of them exploring. There's one guy down at the bottom, and there's some more at the front of the tank. So they acclimated very, very well. So here's the aquarium with the lights on after an hour with them off and the seahorses in there. And right away, they're swimming around. They're doing very, very well. So the acclimation procedures obviously were very good and they're working. I hope to see you next time. Thanks for joining me.